Top 10 Best Ghost and Demon Horror Movies.
That the power of Christ compels you!
Gruesome scenes that describe the horror film industry. Now I'll immerse you in the ghostly and demonic world of this big business. Come along! Number 10. Paranormal Activity. Let's start with the movie that made the audience leave theaters due to extreme fear. This hasn't happened since The Exorcist, but it did once again after almost 50 years. This movie revolves around a couple called Katie and Micah, who set up cameras around the house since they think a ghost is haunting them. You'll progressively discover the backstory of these spooky events throughout the sequels. This movie, shot in the director's house with household cameras and a budget of $15,000, was able to captivate the audience. It raised $195 million and got 5 sequels.
These people are amazing.
The producers surely are. They even came up with 3 incredible endings. The one you already know, the alternative one that is more ruthless, and the original that never came out in theaters. Terrifying. Number 9. The Others. Since its premiere in 2001, this movie has become a classic of the horror genre. This is due to its enveloping plot about a devoted and religious woman played by Nicole Kidman. Her children suffer from a rare disease that restrains them from being exposed to the light, so everyone lives in an eerie Victorian mansion full of metaphorical clues. The Others gradually becomes a ghost story with an unexpected and surprising ending.
No one can make us leave this house.
Creepy. The Others make several references to the works of the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. The director Alejandro Amenabar even turned Nicole Kidman into a fearful blonde, a bit like Grace Kelly, the renowned actress who starred in Hitchcock films. This movie doesn't rely on special effects, but rather the character's personality, moments of silence, and metaphors. Number 8. The Omen, 1976. It is one of the most diabolic movies you've ever watched. It tells you the story of the Antichrist from birth to childhood. Here, little Damien rides his tricycle on the hallways of his house, and suddenly, bam! He pushes his mother, resulting in a deadly fall. Showing no mercy. The Omen was a success at the box office, turning names like Damien and symbols like 666 into demonic representations. Just as Jesus was the main protagonist in 50s films, the devil was in the 70s.
I don't even have another word for it. This is terrifying.
Of course it is. Not only were the images fearsome, but also the composition was epic and sinister since it even won the Academy Award for Best Original Score.
Jerry Goldsmith for The Omen.
Awesome! Number 7. The Shining, 1980. It is considered one of Stanley Kubrick's best adaptations of the creepy story about Stephen King's Enchanted Hotel. Kubrick had the crazy idea of making it a terrifying film and turning it into everyone's nightmare. And though King didn't like many of the director's ideas, he doesn't deny the fact that there were gruesome scenes full of relentless claustrophobic terror.
Hello, Danny.
King also didn't agree with casting Jack Nicholson at first, since he wrote Jack Torrance as a passive man who you wouldn't suspect of at first glance. Yet you can realize that Nicholson is crazy from the beginning. Despite this, let's give this actor some credit for including the famous line,
"Here's Johnny,"
from Ed McMahon's famous phrase for The Tonight Show.
Here's Johnny!
Extraordinary! Number 6. Poltergeist, 1982. Who doesn't remember?
They're here.
A phrase that scared a whole generation. This film focuses on the Freelings family, which goes through a series of paranormal events and live their worst nightmares. It had positive reviews and was a huge commercial success, grossing $76.6 million. After this, there was a debate regarding the actual creator of the film, whether it was the director Tobe Hooper or Steven Spielberg who concocted the story, co-wrote and co-produced the movie. But after carrying out a thorough analysis, you can see both styles, so you may conclude it was a creation of both together. Another interesting fact was the Poltergeist curse, since many tragic accidents took place after its premiere. Dominique Dunne, who played as the older sister, and young actress Heather O'Rourke, who played as Carol Ann, died, and other unexplained disasters also happened. This is a frightening story that goes beyond the screen. Number 5. The Conjuring 2013. It is one of the best horror movies of the 21st century, directed by James Wan, a great master of horror who brings your worst fears to the big screen. Its success was so great it raised $318 million with a budget of $20 million.
This is amazing.
You bet it is! The Conjuring is based on a true story about the paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were contacted by Carolyn Perron to help free her family from demonic entities. This project began 20 years ago when Ed Warren played a tape to producer Tony DeRosa Grund of the first interview between Lorraine and Carolyn Perron. Tony liked it so much that he went looking for production companies to turn this incident into a movie, and he got Warner Brothers as a distributor and James Wan as a director.
I had just finished Insidious, and I wanted to get back into studio filmmaking, and this was like the perfect project for me to get back into it with.
It's an intense film that made the audience to be on the edge of their seats from start to end. Number 4. The Exorcist 1973. This exceptional cult movie was directed by William Friedkin, who turned it into a blockbuster and the first horror film to be nominated for Best Movie at the Academy Awards. The Exorcist is based on a book by William Peter Blatty, where the story goes beyond fantasy as it was inspired by a true event.
Wait, what?
What you heard? It focuses on an exorcism performed to a young boy under the pseudonym Ronald Doe. Although there are differences in the film, since the protagonist is a 12-year-old girl called Reagan McNeil who starts showing violent outbursts, and her mother does her best to cure her, even to the extent of finding a priest when everything turns strange.
In the name of the Father and of the Son!
But the shocking thing were that the incidents that befell the cast and film crew behind the scenes, so much that Blatty and Friedkin regularly brought in a priest to bless the place. That surely is disturbing. Number 3. Hereditary. Scary, shocking, and with extraordinary performances, Hereditary creates intrigue all the time. It's the first feature film by director and writer Ari Aster, and it's considered one of the most horrifying monsters of art and cinema. The plot develops after the death of Annie's mother, played by Toni Collette, who begins to experience a series of weird incidents upon moving to her late mother's house along with her family. But everything gets worse after her daughter's accident, which leads Annie to investigate the occultism and discover dark secrets her mother kept. This incredible production includes great performances, among which outstands Toni Collette's.
Because nobody admits anything they've done!
Just striking. Besides, the expertly use of sound effects as background noise ends up being shocking and disturbing on the scene. A plot that will leave you stunned. Number 2. The Witch. There's nothing better than a horror movie that knows how to manipulate your fear of the unknown. Written and directed by Robert Eggers, The Witch knows how to transmit fear by creatively using its soundtrack, adding intrigue and suspense, and resulting in a well-made production. It takes place in 1630 with a family from New England that is banished from their town due to extremist religious beliefs, forcing them into exile in the forest.
Then shall you be banished from this plantation's liberties.
they start to experience paranormal events at their new home because of the overflowing black magic of the forest.
I'm scared.
I know, me too. Eggers' idea was to create a very frightening and deeply disruptive movie set in colonial America. Moreover, it also has a grim and unsettling atmosphere that completely engages you. It's time to introduce you to the queen of demon and ghost movies. Number 1. Rosemary's Baby, 1968. It is the godmother to all of the Satan-themed horror films, from The Exorcist to The Omen and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Despite the years, Rosemary's Baby is still a masterpiece of diabolical and dark entertainment. It shows dazzling performances such as Mia Farrow.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
The plot revolves around a young couple that moves into a New York apartment with an eerie legend due to the former resident's reputation. They will then go through a series of paranormal events. It was directed by the Polish Roman Polanski and faithfully based on the book by Ira Levin. Polanski masterfully directs it by showing you a terrifying yet elegant movie, horrifying yet beautiful in its design.
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Satan is his father, and his name is Adrian.
But beyond the fright it entails, it carries a curse. Many occurrences related to the film happened, such as the death of John Lennon at the door of the Dakota building where the movie was shot, including the strange diseases of the producer and composer and the cruel slaughter of pregnant actress Sharon Tate, wife of Roman Polanski. A fearsome coincidence. Bone-chilling.
Somebody help me!
Now tell me, which? Don't go yet. I have more scary videos for you. Click on any of them.